So, I am a former Demon Twink. A few examples that helped me realize this was literally seeing half of my hookups put their wedding bands on after we were done. I once passed like 10 straight couples heading home from church, and then I realized like half of their husbands were from grind going on like full on random weekend trips with strangers just because prepping every single time I go out just in case. And I once let this kid who got kicked out for being gay, who was my age, crash on my couch because I thought that's what serving mother meant. The demon twink is something that shows up out of a lack of self love and self esteem. Yeah, you might be attractive to other people, but as long as you don't find yourself attractive, then you're never really going to truly feel attractive. Basically, just chasing and starving for that affection, attention that other people can give you because that is essentially what a demon twink based their self-worth on. And honestly, feeling ugly and feeling pretty are both like really fleeting feelings, but having self-worth, that is something that is important. Me 2 years ago could never because I was like knee deep in denial. Denial is a river in Egypt, and your husband actually is gay because, like, the amount of straight men. The demon twink also refers to a twink without friends and general loved ones or role models to keep around them to hold them accountable for their self degrading, usually slutty actions. So I am here. Call me mother. The demon twink phase would totally be something studied in Oxford if they hired more gay researchers there, aka gay searchers, aka DL men once a month when that bi urges hit. Anyways, the overall emotional state and feeling of being a demon twink is not a good one. Although we are constantly chasing the next thing to fill us up, it does not fill up our godforsaken hearts. And I do not mean God hates us for being gay, I mean God hates us for being hoes. So before another demon twink says F it all, let's move into this balding figure's home and I can call him daddy. Let's hear some words of wisdom. Wisdom. I say that because I am. And hopefully, my semi Uncle Ironist can transform some demon twink Zuko's. So, like most of them, I had a certain set of apps on my phone. Aside from things like Tinder, Hinge, Bumble, there was an extra special one. If you ever want out of the demon twink, delete that app right now. There is nothing wrong with being on dating apps, but there should be a limit to how much you use dating apps. Like, I literally don't know who said this first, but like the best advice for dating apps is literally that one quote where it's like, don't stare too deeply into the abyss for it stares back at you. Because where do you think all these where do you think all these red flag profiles come from? They are clearly other people. They aren't just like random bots because like the bots are busy trying to make themselves look like good matches. Point is the culture that is surrounding those dating apps aren't really the healthiest environments to be in, especially for long periods of time. So, just by being on there and interacting with not healthy people, that can rub off on you. Like, even if you start off with being the most genuine person on there, you will end up within like 2 to 3 months, like easily the biggest red flag on that site. People are much more moldable than we would like to believe. Everything and everyone wrong in this world can easily become us, collectively adding to the toxicity of our world. I'm not saying you should stop entirely, but I'm saying if you ever catch yourself typing 6 figures, 6 feet, and 6 inches, leave. Cut it off. Cut it off. And even if you have been like this, just remember it's really not the end. It's just another phase in life. You remember high school? You remember how cringy you were then? You remember middle school? This is just another phase. You have to actively grow out of it if you want to see improvements. We are all capable of being the worst Hinge has to offer and the best catches of Hit Tinder. Take breaks from dating apps. And that doesn't mean just cycling between one app to another to another. Take genuine long breaks at a time. You are there looking for one partner who you can enjoy life with. I still remember the days that I set my profiles from 18 to 99 as a high school senior. Can you imagine a 37-year-old man going out with a high school senior? I can. And can you imagine the types of people doing that? Not every single person in this world grows emotionally as they grow older. So put in that work and grow up now. Like, growing emotionally doesn't entail actually growing up. We can still enjoy the stages of our young lives without all that, you're never really done. It's all like human lives go in phases. We're never really done. We're never really done cooking. Because like I do feel bad for like the older men on dozens of dating apps after like decades, like literal decades just just existing. If you find yourself at 18-year-old trying to fix a 30-year-old plus man's loneliness and issues, people access other people in order to dig into their empathy, to dig into their emotions, to dig into their feelings of validation. Anyone, literally anyone in this world can provide that for another human being. And this counts for young people as well. It really sucks that some of us grow old alone, and that's a huge structural problem in modern society. But that's not a you problem. That's not a me problem. That's nothing that we can fix for those older men. Real speaking, if you genuinely do find yourself attracted to older men, get yourself into some therapy. Because while it is nice to be attracted to older figures, that type of attraction should be saved for the person you actually saw aging and spent your life with. Not a man who is old enough to have been the doctor giving birth to you. I haven't said enough personal stories yet, and partially the reason is because I have been. But yeah, personal stories, rapid fire. Let's go. I once matched with a 30-year-old man, and right before we were about to go on a date, he canceled and then said that it's because his friends mocked him for seeing someone so young. He then proceeded to add me on Snap, reassure me that we could still talk, then ask for explicit photos. When I refused, he then went on to say that, oh, you're not mature enough for me. I was literally fresh out of high school, and I swear to you, all of the DL boys would do the same exact thing. So it's just weird to see like a 30-year-old white collar man do that. Not every single person in this world grows emotionally as they grow older. I once went out on a date with a psych major. Something about psych majors is they have very little self awareness. Like, they will analyze everything you do with like top notch critical thinking. But then, like, you point out one thing, that's my boyfriend in the background. If you point out one thing about them, they'll be like, they won't understand that they are doing textbook things back to you. He took me on a date to a place called Yosaku, which is a Japanese word, but that is a very big red flag for me because his favorite dish on the menu was orange chicken. This was after I complained to him that, oh, there's not enough Asian food up north and that I'm really missing all the variety I had. You know, things like hot pot, K barbecue. As you can imagine, this is one of those like heavily Americanized like Panda Express level restaurants where they have like pad thai, curry, and sushi, and then they also have like ramen and orange chicken on the menu, fried rice, you know, like lo mein, those type of places. So there were two dumplings on the menu, gyoza and shumai. And if you ever worked in one of those places before, you know both of them are frozen. The shumai are literally just like little frozen dumplings that they steam, and then the gyoza are the same frozen dumplings that, not the same, but like also frozen, that they just pan fry and then add a little water to. He spent 15 minutes bothering the poor blonde girl behind the counter, asking, oh, which is which, asking her to describe which is which, because he had an Asian friend who brought homemade dumplings the day before because that was her comfort food and he wanted to try her comfort food. And I'm like, the gyoza and the shumai, neither of them are going to be anything like her comfort food, okay? He was nagging this girl, and I shit you not, this girl gave me the most devastating look I've ever had in my life. Like, this really look, like she side-eyed me and she was like, really? And then I was like, I'm so sorry. And then like as he turned away to pay, this girl literally was like, and I was like, that was the most embarrassed I have ever been in my life. And then when I tried telling him like, oh, this isn't working out, he somehow concluded that we can't date because I'm just not in the right headspace to date yet, and I'm not ready to date seriously yet. This was after me telling him multiple times that I don't want to continue this relationship because of your perception of Asian culture. Once, when I was feeling really, really lonely, I invited a guy over to play strip Mario Kart because I just wanted someone to play Mario Kart with. I once went on a date with a 30-year-old guy who was in the textiles industry, And as a freshman in college, I was knee deep into my like anti-capitalism phase, right? So I made a joke about how third-party companies are kind of a scam, and that like, oh, what if I started a textile company where I buy from you and then I just like change the quality buzzwords of it and then sell for a higher price and then just pocket the change, or like buy things from Temu and then like sell it. Which, by the way, is like such a problem right now. Like a lot of people are doing that, and it's like weirdly acceptable for no reason. Like I once met a girl who had a t-shirt printing business, and then I found out she's literally just buying printed t-shirts and selling them, reselling them. But this man was genuinely confused because he was taking my words as a genuine business proposition, because that was literally what his business did. Like he would source and buy cheap like materials and then he would resell them. Like, needless to say, I did not see that man after that, and I am still knee deep into my anti-capitalism phase until someone proves me otherwise, because this inflation is killing me. Like I said, that is still a one-ply roll of toilet paper you see on my paper towel holder right there. I once matched with a guy on Hinge who was also Viet, and we FaceTimed. The very first FaceTime, his girl best friend made me say 10 nice things about him that I liked about him, or else she would hunt me down. They also found like my TikTok and my socials, which I don't really mind, but basically that was kind of like the end of my Demon Twink days. I was like, huh, it must feel really nice to be protected like that.